In 1994, cinema audiences were introduced to one of the most energetic and outrageous characters ever to hit the big screen, Stanley Ipkiss, also known as The Mask. This film quickly became a cult classic, thanks to its perfect blend of comedy, action, and visual effects that were ahead of their time. Starring Jim Carrey in one of his most iconic roles, The Mask carved its place in film history, not just because of its humor, but also because of the sheer uniqueness of its presentation. With a modest budget and sky-high creativity, the film turned into a massive success, pushing Carrey's career into superstardom and introducing a new style of comic book adaptation that was both vibrant and chaotic in the best way possible. The story begins in the fictional Edge City, a place filled with crime, chaos, and cartoonish possibilities. Stanley Ipkiss is a soft-spoken, unlucky-in-love bank clerk who can't seem to catch a break in life. He's the kind of man who gets pushed around, taken advantage of, and ignored by society. But everything changes when he finds an ancient wooden mask floating in the river. This is no ordinary mask. It contains the spirit of Loki, the Norse god of mischief. Once Stanley puts it on, his entire personality and appearance are transformed. He becomes a zoot-suited, green-faced whirlwind of energy who can bend reality like a living cartoon. Jim Carrey's performance in this role is the heartbeat of the film. His rubber-faced expressions, physical comedy, and improvisational skills brought the mask to life in a way no one else could. The moment Stanley turns into the mask, the tone of the movie shifts into pure chaos. He dances, he sings, he fights, all while breaking the laws of physics and logic. Audiences were stunned by how effortlessly Carrey could switch from meek and mild to manic and magical. His transformation scenes were filled with over-the-top effects and perfectly timed slapstick humor. The film also starred Cameron Diaz in her debut role as Tina Carlisle, a nightclub singer and love interest of Stanley. Her presence brought charm and glamour to the film, and her chemistry with Carrey added a unique dynamic. Tina is introduced as a mysterious and sultry woman who initially seems unattainable, but she later becomes central to Stanley's emotional journey. Her relationship with him isn't just romantic filler. It serves as a reminder of his humanity even when he is masked. Diaz's performance was both enchanting and surprising for a newcomer, making her one of the most talked about aspects of the film upon release. At its core, The Mask isn't just a superhero story or a slapstick comedy. It explores identity, self-confidence, and the masks we all wear in our daily lives. Stanley, when unmasked, is shy and invisible to the world. With the mask, he becomes the version of himself he always dreamed of being. But as the story progresses, he learns that the mask doesn't solve his problems. It only amplifies what's already inside him. This internal conflict becomes the emotional center of the film. Is the mask a gift or a curse? The main antagonist of the film is Dorian Tyrell, a gangster with ambitions to overthrow his boss and take over Edge City's underworld. When he acquires the mask, he becomes a monstrous version of the mask, darker, more violent, and terrifying. This contrast between Stanley as fun-loving mischief and Dorian as brutal power shows just how dangerous the mask can be, depending on the wearer. The final battle between Stanley and Dorian is packed with tension, action, and classic mask-style comedy. It's a showdown that reflects the deeper theme of power and how it's used. The production of the movie was equally fascinating. With a budget of around $23 million, New Line Cinema and director Chuck Russell had to be extremely creative to bring the world of The Mask to life. The visual effects team used a combination of CGI, makeup, and practical effects to create the mask's transformations and abilities. This was during a time when CGI was still in its early stages, but the effects in the mask still hold up because they were used smartly and sparingly. The exaggerated physics, like spinning tornadoes, morphing facial features, and cartoonish explosions, were all deliberately designed to resemble animated sequences from old-school cartoons. One of the film's standout scenes is the Cuban Pete dance sequence. When the police surround the mask, instead of fighting or fleeing, he breaks into an elaborate musical number with backup dancers, maracas, and Latin flair. It's absurd, over the top, and completely unexpected, yet somehow it fits perfectly within the movie's logic. This scene highlights the film's commitment to unpredictability and entertainment. It's also a testament to Carrey's physical stamina and talent as a performer. Few actors could pull off such an eccentric, high-energy moment without losing the audience's interest. The trailer for The Mask built up enormous hype before its release, with flashy clips of the mask's transformations, wild action scenes, and catchphrases like smoking. The trailer promised a roller coaster of fun. And it delivered. When the film was released in July 1994, it was an instant box office hit. It earned over $350 million worldwide, far exceeding expectations. Audiences of all ages were drawn to its unique mix of humor, action, and visual spectacle. Parents were entertained by the adult jokes and clever writing, while kids were fascinated by the cartoonish antics and slapstick comedy. The marketing campaign for the film also played a big role in its success. Posters featuring the iconic image of the mask, tipping his yellow fedora, became instantly recognizable. The bright green face, the oversized teeth, and the mischievous smile were unforgettable. Merchandising followed quickly, including toys, comic books, and even an animated series that ran for 3 seasons. The Mask became more than just a movie. It became a cultural icon. Kids wanted to be him for Halloween, and adults quoted his lines at parties. It was the kind of phenomenon that only happens when all elements of a film align perfectly. Financially, The Mask was a dream project. With its relatively low budget and massive box office return, it became one of the most profitable films of the year. It also earned Jim Carrey a Golden Globe nomination and solidified his status as one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Before The Mask, Carrey was best known for his work on the sketch comedy show In Living Color, but after the film's success, he became a household name, leading to back-to-back blockbusters like Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. The Mask proved that he wasn't just a TV comedian, he was a movie star. Over the years, The Mask has remained a fan favorite. Its unique blend of practical effects, cartoon-inspired humor, and heartfelt storytelling gives it a timeless quality. Even decades later, audiences still revisit it for laughs, nostalgia, and entertainment. The movie holds a special place in the hearts of those who saw it in theaters and continues to attract new fans with each passing generation. Despite being based on a dark comic book series, the film's light-hearted tone made it more accessible and enjoyable for a wider audience. Rumors of a sequel swirled for years, especially because of the film's popularity. Although a direct sequel starring Jim Carrey never happened, a spin-off titled Son of the Mask was released in 2005. However, it was widely criticized and failed to capture the magic of the original. Fans and critics alike agreed that without Carrey's charisma and energy, The Mask simply didn't work. It only reinforced how essential his performance was to the success of the original film. There have also been talks about reboots and new adaptations, but nothing has ever lived up to the 1994 classic. What makes The Mask truly special is its ability to blend genres without losing its identity. It's a superhero film, a romantic comedy, a crime caper, and a slapstick cartoon all in one. Yet it never feels overcrowded or confused. Each element supports the other, creating a cohesive and wildly entertaining experience. The film's pacing is tight, the dialogue is witty, and the visuals are unforgettable. It's one of those rare movies that knows exactly what it wants to be and fully commits to it. Even the soundtrack of the film adds to its charm. With jazz, swing, and Latin-inspired music, the audio backdrop perfectly matches the energy and rhythm of the film. Songs like Cuban Pete became synonymous with The Mask and added another layer of personality to the character. The music wasn't just background noise, it was part of the storytelling, enhancing scenes and elevating the mood. This attention to detail is one of the reasons why the movie has endured for so long. In the years since its release, The Mask has continued to be referenced in pop culture. From memes and GIFs to Halloween costumes and fan art, the character remains iconic. Jim Carrey himself has spoken about the role fondly, acknowledging how it changed the trajectory of his career. While some movies fade away after their initial success, The Mask has remained relevant, fun, and influential. It paved the way for other comic-based films that didn't take themselves too seriously and proved that comic book adaptations could be colorful, funny, and emotionally resonant at the same time. And as Stanley Ipkiss would say, it's absolutely smoking.